What's up, Hope Shot family? What's going on tonight? Welcome back. We are doing our Sunday Night Live topics. Sometimes we sit here right before we get on, and we like, what do we want to talk about? So you know what? You guys want to talk about something tonight, man? Throw it in the comments real quick. If you're jumping on, say what's up, say hi, let us know you're here. Like I said, throw some topics in there. Let's talk about stuff. I'm gonna ask one of y'all if you could read the clarity statement real quick.
I got it.
Lisa got it. One of us can get it.
Okay, I got it. Hope Shot clarity statement. We here at the Hope Shot are a group of people in recovery spreading inspiration. We come from all different walks of life and pathways of recovery. Our verbiage may be different, but we all have one thing in common: recovery as a lifestyle. We support all pathways of recovery. It doesn't matter how you get from A to Z, just get there. Thank you for being a part of our family.
Thanks, Lisa. All right. So, tonight we go live every Sunday to talk about topics to kind of set the tone for the week ahead. We go live every Sunday and Wednesday if you guys are new here. And we just spread hope, spread inspiration. And, the one thing that supports us greatly is you guys sharing our live feeds, man. Share it on your page. Let people see what we're about to spread hope and inspiration. That's the best way you can support us here. Let's see what we got. We got Dale on here. He said, "What's up, guys?" Scott, we got Christina, Misty. What's up, Misty? Misty says depression for a topic.
That's depressing.
I think that every topic we can touch on kind of deals with depression anyways. But we got Christina says complacency. All right. Hey, Caesar.
Go ahead and mute Johnny.
Okay. Yeah.
The madness.
So Misty says she's really struggling with depression right now. So let's talk a little bit about it, man. Maybe we can bring her up. She's struggling right now. I think we all. I know I struggle with anxiety and depression sometimes, and it took a long time to kind of get out of that stage in my life where, like, some days, man, I'd feel really depressed about what's going on, and you got to find out what's the underlying issue that's making you feel this way. Like, there has to be something in your life that's like not going right that makes you feel like depressed, man, like down on yourself. And that's something that, like, we have to figure it out. It doesn't matter, if we have to go to an outside help, sometimes 12-step fellowships, we go to them, and sometimes that's not enough. Sometimes we need a therapist, sometimes we need counselors, we need outside influence, and it's okay, to seek that. So, I don't know if that might help you to, she says, my mom passing away. It's hard talking about it. She passed away June 27th. I'm so sorry to hear that. It never gets easy with a parent passing away. My mom passed away too, and it was unexpected. And I still deal with it, but it will get better. And using it's not an option. It's like it doesn't take away the pain, that you're going through. I don't know if anybody else wants to touch on that.
I know for me, when I'm missing my mom, I know that she is with me. I actually didn't get sober until after she passed. So I struggle with that. And I know that she's with me. She's one of the angels I pray to every day. I know that she sits on my shoulder and carries me through my day. And I know she's proud of me, and I'm sure your mom is proud of you. I know that. So just hang in there and talk to her. Talk to her. And it also cry. Like, it's okay to cry it out, ugly face cry. But yeah, it's hard losing, like, close family members. But.
I want to mental health is something that a lot of the 12-step programs glaze over. So anything that I say right now is just stuff from my own experience. And I do not have a lot of experience personally with mental health, but I do have experience with depression that was very situational to what I was going through, not so much clinical. And somebody said something really simple to me one time that made a lot of sense. So if you're dwelling in the past, you tend to have depression. If you're spending too much time caught up in the future, worrying about what's going to happen, you tend to have anxiety. Anxiety is about the future, depression, dwelling on the past. And if you're living in the moment, you're truly living in the moment, and you're not kind of wasting time worrying about things that either can't be changed or that you don't know if they're going to happen. And the more time I spend living in the moment, living in the now, living and focusing on today's recovery, today's obstacles, I found it made me a lot better as far as depression and anxiety went. All of that being said, that is not something for clinical depression. That is for situational depression that has to do with things we've gone through in our lives. Talking about it out loud, asking for help like you just did, shrinks the problem in my experience. When we talk about things and we don't keep them between our own ears and we share them with our fellows, and we ask for a solution and ask how other people have dealt with that, we usually get dealt pretty good advice. If that advice doesn't work, then I would say seek professional help for it. If it does work, then keep doing that. That's all I got, and I'll keep you in my prayers.
Tiffany wanted to. Johnny, are you trying to say something? You got something on it? If not, Tiffany does. Hold on, you're muted, dude.
Okay. All right. I'm on my phone tonight. So yeah, I love what Caesar said. We all really have our experience, but we cannot speak clinically, right? I have had this experience both sober and high. I lost my dad in 2010, and I was using. Shortly after that, I went to prison, and I went through some pretty hardcore depression because of it. But you also have to keep in mind that everybody grieves different. So I'm positive you're still going through the grieving process through all this. So you have to also keep that in mind. My mother passed in 2018, and I was about 3.5 years sober when she passed. And it was, my greatest gift to this day. I would just, if I were you, I would keep in mind therapy is a beautiful thing, man. Like it is, Justin and a few people spoke about is like, we're in recovery. We learn some principles, we learn some tools, and they're great. They really are. They're beautiful. They changed my life. But when we're struggling with depression or anxiety, it's always good. It's a great idea to reach out to somebody professionally, clinically, and get it out on the table and take a look at it. Again, it could be a lot of your grieving process. I don't know if you were in depression before mom passed or what the deal was, but I would definitely suggest maybe talking to a therapist sometime soon and kind of working that stuff out with a clinician. I don't really want to talk too much about that, but that's my experience, and I wish you the best of luck. And I know it'll get better. I promise you that.
I think she's in a good setting. I believe she said that she spiraled out of control when her mom passed, and she's in treatment. So she is in a beautiful setting right now.
That's great.
So the one thing that I feel like I can add to it is that I lost my dad. Now our relationship was a little different because he did live overseas in Germany most of my life. And so my relationship with him was via text message and emails for the most part, and a FaceTime or a phone call here and there. But again, he was overseas and it was expensive. I lost him about a year. 2 years will be this August. And, I went through so many of those highs and lows. And even still now, I'll find myself crying, just Christmas time passed, right? And my dad was so good at sending gifts every Christmas and every birthday. And during Christmas, there was these special things from Germany he would send. And so like at Christmas time, I found myself a few times just crying in my car because those moments where I just miss him so bad, you know, but I can't say that like everybody stated, it's not that it gets easier. It's just I've learned how to live with it as I've moved forward. Some of these things, you know, that other people offered as things that may help that I can share with you that did actually help me. You know, every morning opening up the windows and letting the sunlight in and turning some good music on that you enjoy, you know, can help bring up your spirits. Going on a short walk around the neighborhood can help bring up your spirits again, getting outside sunlight. That really helped me because on those walks, I actually talked to my dad, and that personally helped me. Again, I'm speaking from experience. As everybody else stated, this is not clinical in any form or fashion. You know, coloring and journaling. I've seen some other comments talking about journaling really helped them. Of course, that really helped me too, coloring and journaling. Just kind of not staying in my head about it and actually sharing with people when I am missing my dad. You know, I share it with Justin all the time, and he shares with me when he's missing his mom in moments. And then over time, you know, for the first 6 to 8 months, man, I struggled really bad. But then since then to now, I've found certain things where like I'll see things and like we bought a house. I wanted so badly to tell my dad about it. And it's like, it made me sad for a moment, but then all I did was just have that little conversation in my head with my dad and like, I knew he would be proud of me. I knew he'd be smiling. I knew his reaction already because I knew him so well, you know? And so I kind of like created his own response in a way, I guess, you know, and it made me feel better. And it's like, you learn how to like cope with it a little better. I don't know. Sunlight helped, walks helped, talking about it helped. Like everybody else stated, of course, if need be, seeking further clinical help is always a great option.
Definitely. And especially the holidays. The holidays is sometimes because that's when we remember our loved ones the most, you know, and that's just something we have to figure out how to be able to deal with it and cope with it the best we can, you know. And like I said, the coping skills that they give you, you know, through therapy sometimes is something you can't get in the 12 steps. And it's helped me when I was in, you know, outpatient with them. They gave me a lot of tools to use and like doing the breathing techniques and stuff that you don't get in, that you can't get in the 12 steps or any kind of fellowship, you know? So Johnny, go ahead.
So I just wanted to add that, you know, once you do work through it and it does pass, the most beautiful gift of all is going to be that you have had this experience and you'll be able to speak on it and help somebody else. You know, I just wanted to add that part.
Thanks, Johnny. All right. So what do we want to talk about now?
Well, somebody said complacency.
Complacency?
I feel like we did just kind of talk about this a little while back, but it's always a good
We
one
did.
because
Let's talk about,
It's
you want to
dangerous.
talk about choices?
Yeah.
Want to talk about choices?
choices like what?
Run it.
Hey, power of choice, man.
A power of choice.
The power of choice, man.
I mean,
Choosing recovery every single day. Choosing, you know, the I wanted to talk about.
Is it an addiction or is it a choice?
Listen, yeah. I don't care, man. It's controversial.
Just say it.
That's what I want to talk about, bro.
Run it, man. Run it. Start talking.
All right.
Yeah.
We talk about, you know, everybody wants to talk about how addiction is a disease or is it a choice, you know? And I think I touched this on sharing my story last night on Against the Odds. And I just love this topic because I'm sorry, but there's so much controversy about it, you know? People that don't understand, you know, I was just, listen, I'm stuck in this show right now, Dope Sick. Have any of y'all seen it? Oh my God, bro. Like it brings me there. Like literally it brings me back to that same point that like living in that endless cycle and just seeing it like brings me to tears because I know that feeling of like just a slave. Like literally, I don't like that word, but exactly what you are is just a slave to the opiates, man, to the drugs. Like it's a choice at first until it becomes like it's not a choice anymore. You need it, you have to have it. There is no you know, like I said, at first it is a choice. And Dano Smith said it too. It's both in my opinion. And yes, it is. It's a choice to start it, but like I don't know, man. For me, like I was influenced by adults when I was young. You know what I mean? And this is my opinion on it. When you're young, under 18, you can't even consent to sex, right? Am I right?
Right.
So it's true. So how can you consent to an adult? An adult influences you to do drugs. Is it your choice? And then you're brought up in it. So that's where it gets kind of like a little weird for me. You know what I mean? And I see Caesar laughing about it, but it's cool.
I'm
And
not laughing at you. There's
I-
other things going on over here, bro.
you're looking at me, bro. I see you looking. If you're looking over that way, it'd be different. But I just feel like, like at that point where I didn't have a choice. Like I'm shooting up freaking coke with my stepdad at 13 years old. Like, is it a choice for me, or like it kind of is, but it's like, man, these are my peers. These are the people that are supposed to raise me. Like they're teaching me, So like to me, it just depends, man. And then you look at dope sick, bro. Some people get prescribed this by doctors they trusted. They trusted.
I was gonna say, because a lot of times for me, it's hard.
And then what? Is that a choice though?
Right, because that's what happened for me. My whole little stint with pill and narcotic medication, it happened because I was in a motorcycle accident. They prescribed me the medicine and I was taking it as prescribed, like they said. But then, and yes, of course, it was my choice to take it. And I didn't do the research before taking it that it could be addictive. I didn't know it could be addictive. And then I found myself addicted and in some trouble over it. And thank God, by the grace of God, I was able to find my way out. But I mean, was it a choice? I mean,
your brain is hijacked. I like that. Yeah. And it's like, and it's true. It like Johnny, and you're saying it too. It's true. Your brain is literally hijacked. You have no choice after that. It is controlling you in every decision you ever make. And you can't stop the monster once it's bred, once it is born and you're freaking going, it's hard to stop it, man, until some like that gift of desperation comes in. And I don't know if any of you guys want to touch on any of this. And James, I'm glad you can hear us now, buddy. Next week, you're going to be on with new pair of headphones. But you guys want to jump in this too?
So I'll say a few things. I Justin, like you, I feel had like, there's not a lot. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot, but there's not a lot of people who, that young were doing drugs with their parents at that, that's, but there are a lot, now that I'm in recovery, I've learned so many stories and I've heard so many like, things about that. But like for me, it was a choice. And the reason why I was doing drugs and drinking was because it was for social matters, because I wanted to fit in. So yeah, that was a choice, but I did not know what the repercussions were. I didn't know that when it got to a certain point, I like this switch happened in my brain, and all of a sudden I can't live without it because I don't like being who I am without it, and then the physical part of it, once I got into deeper and deeper stuff, I feel like the choice for, once the choice, there's so many different things we could go on. I feel like the choice later on, once your brain has like literally and your body has gotten used to it, until you have that like some kind of awakening or some kind of thoughts or something traumatic happen, jail, institutions, OD, something, or even just like what happened to me. I just had like this moment of clarity where I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? And that's when another choice comes in, when you can make the decision to like get help or figure a way out, or go in a different direction. I think, I did a paper on this last term on, is it choice or not? And like my professor was like, well, she left me a huge thing on it, and I wish I could read it. So good. But yeah, it's all like in the beginning, it's like, yeah, it's a choice in the beginning, but it's an innocent choice because you want to fit in for social factors, to get a guy to like you, or to get a girl to like you, or to let the crowd, or just because you're so uncomfortable in your own skin and you want to take that drink to be free. And oh yeah, I could flirt with you now, or I can like laugh and be part of the crowd now. It starts off with that, yeah. but after that part, it's like head on, you know?
You know, and that's the thing. It's like I feel like the disease of it, we're not talking about the addiction part. I feel like it's the mental health disease of it, because like we're broken, like we're literally broken. Our mental health is screwed up, you know, from trauma, from past experience, from this, that, and the other thing. That's where the disease part comes in. Okay. The choice to use the drugs to freaking deal with it is a different story. You know, maybe, yeah, it's a choice at first, except for the little, you know, stits of like people growing up with it, whatever. I feel like it's the mental health side of it, like, because the fitting in part, like we don't feel adequate enough to live in society without something to, you know, make us better, you know, as human beings, as individuals, you know. And Caesar, I see you want to say something, so I'm gonna let you. Hey guys, will you share this live feed, please? It supports us. It gets it out there, man. This is how you support this page, is by just clicking that share button real quick. You never know who this might help or who sees this page and thinks recovery is possible. Caesar.
All right, so my 2 cents on this. Absolutely, in the beginning, it was my choice to pick something up and put it in my body. You'll hear people refer to an allergy. So an allergy is basically an abnormal reaction in the body. Something introduced to the body, and there's an abnormal reaction. You know, if you're allergic to a strawberry and you eat strawberries, you don't have a good reaction. Where I can eat strawberries all day, and my reaction is, these are good, I'll eat some more. So when you're talking about a choice, yeah, there was a choice in the beginning, but if you've got an allergy to drugs and alcohol, like I have an allergy to drugs and alcohol, then you're going to have an abnormal reaction where somebody drinks for the first time and they barf their guts out and they say, I'm never going to do that again. My brain goes, well, that was actually pretty awesome, and I'm going to do that again, because the 5 minutes that I had where I had some kind of freedom from my own thoughts and my overthinking and all of that, that 5 minutes was worth the next 7 hours of puking all day in my head. So my abnormal reaction causes me to chase this thing over and over again, despite what the consequences are. There's this little group of questions that we were laughing one time, and there's all these questions they ask you. Hey, you might be an alcoholic. Why don't you go through these questions? Or you might be an addict if you go through these questions. But the one that always gets me is, have you ever drank or used drugs when you didn't want to? There's your loss of choice right there. I've had times where I absolutely, positively could not, would not, and did not want to pick up a drink or a drug, where everything was on the line. And I did it anyway. My freedom was on the line. Whatever it was that was on the line, my family. And I still, now we can use the word, I still made that choice. But is that really a choice? Am I that broken that I'm like, well, I'm just going to do it? Because that's not what my brain said. My brain said, you can do it, but it'll be different. My brain goes, you can get away with it. Now, I've got 15 years of experience that tells me, bullshit, I can't get away with it. I always end up in the same spot, locked up or OD'd, all these things. But my brain will tell me over and over again, no, it'll be different this time. We'll just drink one. We'll just do one. We'll go home early. Now, that's the part that I can't explain. That's where choice is lost. And that's what makes the difference between an addict and an alcoholic and a normal person. And that's why it's classified as a disease, because we react differently. Whatever we are, we don't react the same way that a normal person does when they put a drink or a drug in their body. We're not the weekend warriors. We're not the hard drinker. We're addicts and alcoholics who have lost the power to choose and have to do this thing. If I put it in my body, I ride it till the wheels fall off. Me, period. I can't go have one drink. I have one drink and I'm thinking about one hit. I have one hit, I'm thinking about one shot. And I have the one shot, I'm thinking about, I don't really have anything to do next week anyway, so let's just keep going. I don't need to go to probation. I don't need to go to my parenting classes. I don't need to do any of that, or I'll figure it out later. So to me, yeah, there was a choice at some point to pick it up the first time, but that choice was very short-lived because my reactions are different, and it went from choice to an obsession like that.
So I want to say one thing. It's like, you know how, like, you know, and I just one comment right here. It's like my life was literally on the line. I was literally dying from the inside out, and I'm still couldn't stop. That's the power of this allergy, and that's the truth. It's like, man, what a disease does, it kills you. It literally kills the body, and that's exactly what we're doing. But it's our mind that's literally killing the body. Because like the obsession and compulsion that we're just like more. Like I was 130 pounds soaking freaking wet, killing myself literally. And we just don't stop. Like we just keep going. People that OD, they just OD'd and then they get done and then they go OD again. Dude, it's like, is that, I mean, if it's that's a choice, bro. Don't you think we'd learn from that? You know what I mean?
That's how powerful this is. It takes away everything. My family, my kids were not enough for me to go, man, I really got to stop doing this. Because in my head, I keep saying, well, I can do one more. I can do one more. Well, that's the biggest lie. That's the sanity that I have today. The sanity that I have is that I know I can't do one. When I've always in the past talked myself into, well, I could probably just drink a little bit, or I can probably do one hit on the weekends. I'm sane today. I don't know about every other aspect of my life, but when it comes to this, I am sane, and I know that I cannot have one. It's not an option today. And the funny thing is, we're talking about choices and we're talking about a disease, but there's a lot of people, I'm sure, us included, along the way that could have caught it while there was time, but there was no consequences when there was time to stop this thing. It gets to the point where it's off the rails and the disease is on steroids and kicking our ass, and we're 130 pounds and we can't stop the disease. That's when we go, uh-oh, we got to stop. And then we don't know how to stop. And thank God that there's people like the people that are on this podcast that knew the way out. Because if I knew the way out, I wouldn't be in recovery. I would have stopped. There wouldn't be any in recovery. It would have been, well, that was bad. I stopped doing that. You know, I don't have the power to stop this on my own. I need a power greater than myself, and I need a fellowship of people around me to hold me accountable and to make sure that my decisions are good on a daily basis. And most things don't take that much work. This disease takes work every day to stay in remission.
And that's another thing. It's like we're talking about recovery from what? From a choice? You know what I mean? So like, I mean, what are we recovering from? You know what I mean? So like, and I just want to read the definition, the meaning of recovery real quick. I just want to read it. So it says, what does recovery mean? It means the act or process of becoming healthy after an illness or injury. The act or process of recovering is the act or process of returning to a normal state after a period of difficulty, the return of something that has been lost or stolen. You know what I mean? It's like we have to be recovering from something. And what does that mean? I mean, I just feel like we have to be recovering from something in order for it to be recovery. And we talk about it a lot with that, you know, so we're recovering from a disease, which like we have to do every day in order to keep it going, you know. And I want to hear from Johnny, man. I don't think Johnny, you haven't spoke, bro. What's up?
So yeah, you know, Caesar kind of just stole my whole gig, but that's all good. But you know, he so eloquently said, man, we have this thing. If you have this thing, you know, it's like this. This is the controversy. It's so cheesy too, but it's the controversial topic for people who just don't understand it, right? And I get it. You don't understand it, you don't understand it. But at no point in anybody's life do they say, man, I want to be a drug addict and struggle and be stuck and, you know, consumed by this thing, give my kids away, go to prison because I can't control this thing. You know what I mean? I didn't, you know, I didn't say, hey, I want to be living in a burnt out trailer with no electric because, you know, and again, I'm going to say at a young age, I made the choice to party and be a part of and experiment. And it's like a rite of passage for everybody. And not everybody gets this thing either. But those of us who do, like, you know, was said, we got work to do, man. You know, we do. You know, Lisa was saying, we're in school for this right now, right? So I believe, don't quote me, but the American Medical Association classified alcoholism and drug addiction as a disease, I think in 1964. And so like they talk about, which was kind of cool to me because I'm not really good with, you know, with words and understanding. Now I'm in school and I can really see and understand some of this stuff. So, you know, and it says in one of our classes, like it starts with substance use, it goes to substance abuse, it goes to addiction. You know, by that point, we're done. There is no, I'm just going to stop by myself, you know, and there's not a consequence because all of us have been there. We've been, you know, into jail, lost people, not showed up, you know, ruined jobs, ruined families, you know, and that wasn't one of our choices. We didn't just think like, hey, I want to burn my life down and hurt my family and do all those things. You know what I mean? But once you have the disease, it's like that argument, it kind of gets me a little because like the truth is this, if you're sick, then what's the solution? Let's find the solution. You know what I mean? It doesn't really matter. We could argue all fucking day while people are dying by the wayside, or we can stand up and help some people and, you know, and for those who aren't ready, because just like all of us, there was times where I wasn't ready until I was 38 years old. Well, I had attempted a few times before that, but like until you're ready, you know. And so yeah, controversial topic, man, for sure.
And listen, we got to talk about it. You know what I mean?
I
But
love
yeah,
it. Yeah.
and it all goes back to the solution. What is the solution? You know?
Yeah.
And the solution is doing this freaking deal and doing some work on yourself to find out what the fuck is making you tick that way.
And like
You
what
know?
Caesar said, you know, this is like there's a lot of work to be done. And years ago, when I would hear that, I'd say, "Fuck that! I don't want no work. I'm just gonna just keep doing what I'm doing," you know. But like the reality is, and I've heard this, and I'm sure all of us have heard it a million times. How much work did it take for us to live out there dying? You know. So the work that we get to do in self-discovery and helping other people and finding out all this stuff, not only is the most magical thing I've ever done in my life, but it helped me heal. It helps me heal every day. So that work compared to the work it takes us out there grinding on the street just to stay high, it's like, you know, but we don't understand that in the midst of the mayhem. We can only see one thing, darkness, you know. That's why it's so important. Like, you know, again, Caesar said, I need a fellowship of men who are going to hold me accountable or people. And I need, you know, I'm the guy that's the usual, you have to pull me out of society. If I started using again tomorrow, within 3 weeks, you would have to pull me out of society, away from everything, and put me somewhere locked in order for me to, you know, and that's not by choice. I finally figured out after, you know, 30 something years of this thing that like they say it in the book, man, but I love it's one of the favorite lines in the book. A guy says, I have lost the right to chemical peace of mind. And that's me. You know, I don't know about anybody else, but that's me. And that hits home for me, you know.
And that's what it takes in order to freaking finally had enough, dude, is knowing that right there. And that's one thing. It's like even Sherry says, I'm almost 4 years sober and my other half doesn't understand this, what the daily struggle means. He thinks when you quit, it's done. And that's the thing is like, if we can better understand each other, man. And, you know, it's like, what is that? It's better to be. It's better to understand than be understood.
St. Francis prayer.
Yeah. Thanks, buddy. I didn't know that, but and I just know that's a good quote because like it's so much better because we always like I'm sorry, but when we're in addiction too, dude. Same deal. We want to be more understood, than understand what's going on, And like people just don't understand me. They don't get me. You know what I mean? And it's like if we can understand people more and see where they're coming from and just I think we'd be in a better place, man. And that's the thing. It's just having a little bit more compassion for it, and stop putting your opinions out there. And like, there is a solution to it, and that's what we're going with. And I just want to give a shout out to Bodie real quick. Congratulations on 10 months. He put it in there in the comments, man. Congratulations, dude. I meant to say it earlier, but dude, it's just like, but congratulations, dude. And guys, share this live feed. Please share. Get it out there.
So I just want to share a little bit on, I just kind of went through this with somebody that I just did a family member I did an amends with. She had no idea what addiction was. She kind of just thought I could stop and carry on with my life and be a mom and be a sister and be a daughter and that I was making this choice to destroy myself every single day for 25 years. And she held resentment for that, like because I couldn't stop. And I got to when I went and met with her, I got to make an amends that I've never experienced before because I got to explain our illness. I got to explain this disease and like sorry. It was like such an incredible experience to actually open her eyes to what we go through, and if somebody doesn't understand, have that conversation of where you're at and what you went through and that you were just an empty shell walking this earth just trying to fill it with substance, to be able to explain that to somebody, because I saw her comment about her significant other or her boyfriend doesn't get it. Like have that conversation of like who you were and what you were going through. I'm sure you have, but keep doing it until he gets it, because to like open somebody's eyes, and that's what we want to do. We want to open like everybody's eyes to this. Like it's not a choice. Like we're fucking sick, like our like whole like soul was sick. And until like we like talk about it and like share what we've gone through, like people won't know, but that's all I wanted to throw out there.
And that's why we go on. Whoa, sorry. There you go. And that's why we go on here, man, and recover out loud because like we have to put it out there. Like what we go through, the shit that we've been through in our lives, the stories, because it's sick. It literally is sick, man. What we put ourselves through, what we put our families through, what we put our society through, our community, robbing, stealing, cheating for the drugs. You know what I mean? It's not a moral deficiency. It's just that we're sick, I wouldn't have done half the shit I did it on drugs if I wasn't on drugs. Like literally, I was a criminal because I was on drugs. And that's what the thing is like, and we can't come back from that criminal mindset. So it like, and that's one thing that I really am like super passionate about. It's like one day, man, this is my I would love to freaking break that down to where like we can stop being criminalized, because all that does is keep us farther in that darkness that we're never going to be accepted by society. We're never going to change. We're never going to be anything else but some no good freaking drug addict criminal. And that's just not the case. And it's sad that we got to break it down and break it down. And that's why we got to keep on sharing this stuff, getting it out there, putting people's perspective and make them just challenging their perspective, challenging it, and showing people that we can change. I mean, look at us on here. I mean, everybody that's commenting. I mean, we're doing the deal. We're out here freaking grinding every day to try to get this recovery thing down. and staying with it. And it's work, you know, but we do it every day, you know. And I don't know if anybody else wants to talk a little bit more. Caesar. Just click the all you gotta do is click the unmute button. Just cut me off like you usually do, bro. How come it's hard now?
No. You know, I'm trying to be better every day, you know, and I'm going to take your feelings into account, and I'm going to raise my hand. That way we have happiness and unity in our group. So let's keep controversial stuff going. So decriminalizing, right? Let me give you my 2 cents on that. Me personally, I don't think I would have ever found recovery if I didn't have the kind of consequences that I had, and there weren't things in place that would have pumped the brakes for me. This is me personally. I don't know. I know there's a lot of data out there, but you know, Johnny just said it. Like, I had to be stopped. I did not have the ability to go, okay, whoa, that was enough. You know, I stole a car and I did this, and you know, I robbed a strip club and it's getting crazy. I should probably stop. So I have a very different perspective today than I did when I was out there. And that's, I appreciate law enforcement. I appreciate the people that pumped the brakes for me. I'm alive and sitting here because people called the police on me, and EMT showed up and administered Narcan and pulled me out of multiple overdoses. 5 times that I can remember, I was Narcaned. And I'm here sharing my experience, strength, and hope with people because of those people doing their jobs. I can't imagine. I don't think that it was in me to be able to stop on my own. I tried early on to put myself into a detox, but the thing was, I was voluntary. I could leave when I wanted to leave. And I did leave when I wanted to leave. And at the moment I felt a little bit better, or my cell phone rang and the guy was back in town, I went back to doing what I was doing, and recovery was dumb again. It was like, oh, that was a horrible idea. I'm good now. I'm good because I've got money, or I'm good because the guy's back. I was only bad because the guy was in Miami for a week, but now he's back, so everything's cool. I needed the consequences. I needed court-ordered rehab that I couldn't leave without consequences. I needed follow-up. I needed outpatient services. I needed drug testing. I needed all the accountability that I could get to keep me on this path. Now, when my mind changed and I was doing this thing because I really wanted to do it, none of those things were a hindrance. You know, passing a drug test was no big deal. I was happy to show up and drop, where it was like I was always fearful. And you know, when you're doing the right thing, it's not a big deal. It's just another layer of accountability. And we get to outgrow those layers of accountability because the charges fall off and the probation gets completed and we earn our freedom back. But again, I don't think I'd be sitting here if I lived in a decriminalized society where there was no consequences for using and buying. I think I would be dead.
Caesar. Hey, I just want to say, I wasn't talking about I don't know if you mistaken what I was saying with the decriminalizing. Okay, just making sure. I was like, oh, did he take me wrong?
No, you used the term, so it just made me think about this, and I figured since we were kind of moving into this misconceptions of disease and misconceptions of whether it's a choice or a disease, that this is another good one, because you see it on social media all the time. Well, they've got this model here where, you know, people can use safely and this and that, and it, all of that may be wonderful, but I'm saying, speaking from my experience, I think I'd be dead. I'm pretty sure I'd be dead. That I don't think I could have stopped or done anything safely. I've never in my entire life gone, oh, well, it doesn't seem wise to use this much of something. I think I'll dial it back a little bit today. No, I used as much as I could to get right to the edge of death, because that was the sweet spot, you know, like teetering, almost dead, but not quite dead. And if that was okay in society, I wouldn't be here. You know, like if our society said, no, it's okay, everybody, you can get your heroin down at the corner store and you can pick up this much each day, and it's legal and you can't have any problems. On day one, I would be at home dead. That's because that's how I roll, you know. Proceed.
So
No.
I know for me that even with the consequences, even with me being arrested multiple times, and you know, going it's my little stunts in jail and all that stuff, and because I can never complete probation, they stopped giving it to me after a while because it didn't scare me anymore. But like every time I overdosed. I would be in the hospital and, there was no peer support people coming in or anything like that. The doctors would be like, please stop. Meanwhile, I'd have my ex-boyfriend come in bringing me dope, and I'd be in the bathroom with the IV thing doing it. Like, none of that stuff scared me. That's how sick I was. It took, you know, um, I think I had 4 or 5 ODs, and it took insanity of meth, of somebody else going insane, and I just couldn't take it. It took that. Like, that wasn't even my drug of choice, but it took that for me to like kind of have that like awakening of like, what the fuck am I doing? I think everybody has their own stuff. Consequences, I was used to them. The only when it came to consequences, it was like, how was I going to get out of them? That's if I got arrested right away, I knew like, okay, this bondsman, they owe me a favor. Like it was like none of that stuff scared me, and it was just that I think it goes back to like that empty shell of just desperate, that gift of desperation, that empty soul. That's what it took for me. All that jail criminalization stuff. You know how we talked to what's his name? From the jail. Hey.
Billy?
Billy. You know how many times he tried to get me into treatment? And I always was like, nah, I'm good. I don't need it. I'm good. And I don't think I would have been ready, even if I went, but who knows? Who knows where it would have taken me. But I don't know. So yeah, consequences, but I am grateful for all of that though, because I would have been dead without them. That's God stepping in with all of me getting arrested. You know what I mean? That's God coming in with judges trying to help me. I had a judge talk to me once about like, well, my last name was Maccabee at the time. Miss Maccabee, when are you gonna, snap out of this? And I just looked at him like, please don't sentence me hard, just smile and nod. And it was like, none of that stuff registered to me because I wasn't ready.
I agree with you. The consequences themselves, I had accepted the fact that I was going to spend the rest of my life in prison or die in the streets.
Yeah.
One of the two. Like, that was my reality. Like, what I mean, the consequences, the breaks that the DOC gave me to have some clarity when I was forcefully removed from the drugs, those are the only times that I thought clear. And then those moments that I had when I was lucid because I was locked away were the cracks where the recovery slipped in. Because if I'm numb all the time, there's no room for recovery to get in. But if you tell me I can leave the pod for a little while to go to an AA meeting, I might go. If you tell me I can leave the pod to go to an NA meeting, I might go. You tell me I can leave to go to church, I might go. And then all those little seeds that are planted. I remember when I finally found recovery, I saw a guy speaking, and it was the guy that was coming into the jails from like 7 years before. And I pulled him aside and talked to him. I said, hey, man, I don't know if you remember me, but I remember you, man. Like, you planted one of the original seeds in my mind because you told your story and it sounded just like me. It took me a lot of years later, but I want to thank you for planting that seed because I knew there was a 12-step program available for people like me when I was ready. Was I ready then? No, I wasn't ready at all. I needed a lot more pain and suffering, but when I was ready, I knew where to go.
I want to say one thing. It's like every time talking about the consequences and all that, dude, I remember when I got arrested shoplifting, right? And or getting pulled over and they throw me in jail. I would cry, like literally, because I get a break. I literally get a break from myself, from stealing, from robbing, from doing, from going, staying up 2 weeks straight in a row, freaking weirded out, man, seeing shadow people and shit. Like literally, it would give me a break from myself, and getting sentenced to drug court. Like it might not have clicked right then and there, but all those little things, man, added up. Just like you're talking about doing the AA or NA in freaking jail, dude. It was cold in the pod, so I wanted to go. You know what I mean? Exactly why. Exactly. It was cold, man. I gotta go. You know, but all those little things, and it makes your mind think. Now you got some clarity, man, and you're just like, what the hell am I doing in my life, man? You wake up in jail, like, where am I sometimes, you know? And it's so true. I want to hear from Nate, man. Like, I'm glad to see your beautiful little face. What's up, buddy?
What was the topic?
Topic's just, we're talking about choices, talking about solutions. We're talking about, is
it a choice or is it a disease, that type of
that,
shit?
and then we're going on all kinds of things, decriminalization, you know, just all kinds of stuff. So just, yeah, pretty much
Looking at consequences as blessings, all kinds of cool stuff.
all kinds of cool stuff, man.
Yeah, I think I had something to say about the whole is it a disease or a choice, and it can apply to like so many things that are going on in the world today, because like my opinion, like who the fuck cares? Who cares? You know, we could sit here and argue all day about if it's a disease, if it's a choice, if it's our parents, if it's, you know, but I had perfect parents. What's my excuse? You know what I mean? My parents didn't drink. They didn't do drugs. They gave me every opportunity I could possibly ever have. And I still went off the rails, you know? So, I mean, yeah. So there's really no logic to it. And it gets to a point where who the fuck cares, man? What can we do about the problem? What's the solution to it, man? And that's what it boils down to for me. And it's like, and I think the same shit with like, and I bring this up today because it's so prevalent. I just was traveling. So you got, you know, vaccinated or not, Trump or Biden, you know what, like all these divisions, you know what I mean? And you can get caught up in these things, man. And I've seen family members be affected and families be split because of this thing. And it's like the same deal. Who cares? You know, who cares? Like what can I do personally on an individual basis to be a better human being? You know, and that's how the same deal with the whole disease or a choice argument, you know, like does it really fucking matter? You know what I mean? I love the science they have behind it. I think there's great logic to it. And I get where the other people are coming from too, you know, but I'm a product of whatever substance abuse is, or wherever it originated from. So what can I do to find the solution to not be affected by it or have other people affected by it, you know? And I heard something about consequence or decriminalization. So I was in Portland not too long ago, and I'm just, you know, walking through the downtown, and I just look over, there's a dude shooting up, right? And I'm like, huh, you know, like right on. And you know, I hear, and then I talk to somebody about it, and they're like, oh, that's fucking horrible. And then again, who am I to presume, you know, the right thing there? You know what I mean? I don't know. I just you know, I try not to get lost on these you know, it's a slippery slope to when I start presuming that I know what's best for a fucking entire state, and or what some scientists have figured out if it's a disease or things like that, you know. Like I'm trying not to be a fucking mess myself. I'm trying to learn how to be an adult and pay bills and stuff like this, and you know, be a functioning member of society. Like, and then here I'm gonna pipe in on some serious politics, and you know, and something that doctors have been working on years to prove. No, you know, I'm not authority on such matters. Now, what I can contribute to the conversation is how to not be an addict, an alcoholic, or to find some type of recovery. That I can talk about, and that's what I want to focus my energy on today, rather than who the fuck's president or if somebody's vaccinated or not. Whatever. I don't care. Do you? I'm going to try to show up in my life the best possible way I can. And try to, not be such a mess every day. And then I caught that little bit about consequences. I think the consequences kind of paved the way, like Caesar was touching on. Like, if it wasn't for my consequences, hey, look, that was trippy, man. Yeah. If it wasn't for the consequences that I faced, I feel personally that I probably would have been dead. If I wouldn't have been in prison for X amount of years, I would have been out here doing what I do all those other years, and statistically, I probably wouldn't have had very high chance of living, because the way I was going, I could only be on the street for X amount of time before I was, in the, and I proved that to myself, because the last time I was on the street, the longest, before I got sober this time, that's the longest time I was out, 3 years straight. Like, I mean, I went to the county for a couple days and bonded out. But anyway, those 3 years, and I overdosed like 15 times. Like, I was in the hospital almost like every month for something, and all that, it took that right there. But it wasn't like, I didn't surrender. I didn't make a choice for recovery because I was facing this, or because I made a choice because I was fucking exhausted. I was beat up, man, and I was so desperate and sad and empty, and I just had zero options, man. And that was the catalyst for me. Not losing my daughter, not any prison sentence, which is not to say all of these things didn't contribute, because they did. All those, all those prison sentences, all those, me losing my daughter, me losing my, whatever I lost or whatever I gave away. These were all like little, kind of signs that I just wasn't able to receive or read at that time, because I was just so full of shame and guilt and regret. But Lisa said it great, man. I'm so grateful for every instant. I was talking to this gentleman today, a gentleman I was helping, and he was talking about acceptance, and he's trying to accept something that is very difficult. You know what I mean? Like, something I can't conceive of because I have no experience with it. And it's like, I was trying to explain to somebody that really doesn't understand how for me to accept anything now, I had to accept and find purpose in what was. And once I accepted all that mess and realized it was for something and not nothing, that made every bit of difference in my life, and that was one of the most freeing moments of my life, when I realized, like, all that nonsense, all this tragedy and pain and suffering and prison and overdoses, what have you, was all for a greater purpose, and something that I can use today as a great gift to reach somebody that maybe cannot be reached by another. So I'm really grateful I got back in time to make a little cameo. It's good to see your faces. I was so bummed. Justin, I'm glad that I'm not gonna say it. Let me not say it. Hey, yeah, Justin, he fucking 86 me, man. I was a little fucking in my feelings, bro, and I'm like, no.
You're still crying about it, bro?
Made it home so I could just come on and because it's important for me, and that's the only reason, Justin, that I felt, because it's important for me to be here on Sunday nights. It's important for me to you know, be a part of what this is. And it means a lot to me. And I'm grateful that whoever's on, that you're listening. I'm grateful to see my peeps. I'm grateful to be home. Yeah, I'm hungry. I'm tired. But yeah, here we are.
Halt. Hey, I love that you come on, dude. I'm glad that you came on actually in this perfect timing, dude. Like we're
Perfect.
running out.
Impeccable timing.
It was.
I'm wondering where Johnny Bag of Donuts went, man.
Dude, he did some magical stuff just a minute ago, bro.
Yeah, that
like
was
right
impressive.
before our eyes, dude.
I thought I was having a acid residual, man.
She did some kind of Street Fighter move. She's like, "Get over here!" No. I think that's it for tonight, man. We're gonna close it up tonight, guys. Thank you all for being here and joining us on these comments, man. Commenting your opinion, your experience, strength, and hope, man. This is what it's about. Is you guys chiming in? Give us some thoughts on what you think as well. Man, we'd love to hear from you. I'm gonna actually get in the chat and hit you guys up because there's a couple things in there that I really want to do. And I meant to say it earlier, but Teresa Ford, congratulations on 10 months too. I meant to say it earlier and I forgot to, and I apologize, but I wanted to do that before we ended this. So we love you guys and we thank you guys for being here. Hey guys, tomorrow I'm gonna go live with the winners of the shirts that I'm giving away. I was gonna do it tonight, but things happen. I just didn't have time. I want to do this correctly. So I'm gonna go live tomorrow with the winners. So join me tomorrow. I'll probably do it maybe around lunchtime. So join us tomorrow. And then this Wednesday, we have a very special guest coming on for the Addiction to Success. Christina is going to come on and share her story. And it's also her exact clean date, celebrating 3 years on that day. So come with us. It's a celebration of life. And I just love celebrations. So join us this Wednesday, 8 p.m. right here in the Hope Shot. Till then, good night. Love you guys.